Hello, 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 hello. How is everybody? How's it going there? Dano, how are you? Good to see you. Alright, so we're going to work on some builds here. Probably a couple hours here to stream. How's it going there, David? Good to see you. A couple hours stream there, then I have to leave. But did a little work this weekend on the helicopter. I'm trying to get everything ready for so I can get the new home ship in-game. See why the music still seems a little loud. Get that fixed. There we go. Drop down Chrome's volume. So I did a little work in the helicopter. I hit all the microcontrollers. This is a testing microcontroller. That's why it's pink. But it's quite tight in here to get all the micros in, but they're in. And so that's working pretty well. Doing some PID tuning here. So what I'm going through here is I made a little PID tuner microcontroller. It's pretty simple. It has the 3 keypads mix in for PI and D. And then it just reports them out on composite, and that way I can plug it into, for example, I'm going to be working on the autopilot a little bit. So that plugs into the autopilot here, and I can tune up the P, the I, the D at the same time. So it lets me put the node from that and then tune these in. So I want to work on the yaw. I think we're having some collective shutter, maybe we'll call it that. And so it could be a couple things. With a coaxial, you're using the collectives for yaw, using top collective and the bottom collective to yaw the craft, and so it's could be contributing to some of that. So I'm going to be tuning in that next. So here is the yaw right here. So I'm just looking at the starting numbers. So 0.025 and 0.5. All right. So get that going. So I did some PID tuning on the engine itself. That's pretty much as good as it can get. Make sure that we have infinite electricity fuel. Take vehicle damage off so that we can take a little bit of damage and not have to reload the vehicle. How's it going there, Tandem? Good to see you. So change up the fuel tank a little bit. I put in winches. The 2 winches are in for rescues. The PID tuning is much better on the engine itself as well, so get this going here. Seems to me like the gyro is also a little bit too sensitive still. You can see kind of in certain regimes it's still kind of wobbly, so we're working on that as well. But trying to get this tuned up. Alright, so right now I'm trying to smooth out the yaw. So what is it? Was it 0.025? 0.025 was the p-value there. So as you see, we'll now yaw over. So I set 170. You notice it overshot by quite a bit. So let's put in some d value there, 0.5, and we'll change that up again. So let's go 180. That's a 10-degree turn. So a little bit of an overshoot, but not bad. Let's do a big turn. See if there's much overshoot on this. Not really too bad. 3 degrees is pretty reasonable. So let's cut this down to 0.02. Let's we'll keep that at 0.5 for now. Let's go 180. I'm just trying to get that flutter out of the VSI there. You can see the ropes are shaking. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. So I think a lot of it's in the gyro. So I'll tune the gyro a little bit. There we go. So that's capturing pretty quickly and closely where it needs to be. Let's increase this to 1, see what that does. There we go. That's on the money right there. That's within 1 degree. So that's pretty good there. So we have a 1 and a 0.02. 1 and a 0.02. Okay, good. So that is, I just want to get these hard numbers kind of in, and then we can work from there. Let's see. P, yaw. That's 0.02. D yaw, yaw. And that was 1. Okay, and then we can get rid of that. Get rid of that. All right, we're not going to run an I value to that. All right, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. With the restrictions on that, that's fine. Okay, good. So that can get disconnected there. So let's go now work on the gyro. See if I can. So I tried to get the PIDs kind of smoothed out. Now I'm going to tune the gyro just a little bit. So let's. These are all at 20s. Let's go to 15s. See if that drops it too much. Because that, you know, essentially the gyro is another PID, so it's you know, it's dual pitting it. So what? There we go. Press the wrong keys on the keyboard. How's it going there, Anton? How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so that's going on. Let's put in 100. So we shouldn't have to tune anything this time. We'll see how it is without tuning. 170. Okay, heading hold. So I don't know why we have a little bit of a roll issue I need to fix. I did something I need to fix. You still see we're a little bit jumpy. Trying to get that fixed. Let's do altitude hold. Yeah. You see, it's way overdoing the collective. And that's a lot of the jumpiness there. Feels like we're angled, but we're looking good there on the artificial horizon. We are sliding, definitely 100%. So might need to move the physics sensor too. We'll see. Let me make sure I have control the way I need it. So. See, we're having a roll issue, so I wonder if it's just the roll issue. Let's dick around with the roll issue, see what's up with that. All right, I'm running to 1 rotor on roll. Roll there. Pitch. See if I can dual roll this. Stabilize roll. There we go. Might have to run an opposite on the roll. Let's run dual roll. I haven't done a coax in a while, so I got to tune it up a little bit. Might pull one of my other coaxes and double check how I have things set up. So I've not done it in a while. I'm just trying to get this last little bit of stability going. Once that's done, like it works fine. We could use it. It's just, for the most part, it just needs stability work. Okay, yep, absolutely. That was part of the issue there. Okay. That is part of the issue there, is the roll. That would need to be inverted, so we'll do a quick function, and we'll just run this really quickly. Okay, so the top one is there. We'll see if we need more roll authority. Okay, that already looks better using both of them. You can see it's jumping. That means one of the, likely the gyro sliders is up too high still. So let's make sure. So what we'll do is we'll roll. All right, so we have plenty of roll authority. Now let's yaw. We have plenty of yaw authority. And then we'll go in a pitch here in a second. And this is all with the auto hover on, so it restricts our movement anyway. So those are all good, so we can come down a little bit on these. Let's go down to 10. Just trying to knock that vibration out. No, it's not the prop in the back. There we go. It's it's not really much better. Let's see. Yeah, it's not the pusher prop. Let's kick that altitude hold on. What's up with my... Okay, so heading hold does not have enough authority anymore. Alright, so it's not that. It could be physics sensor in the wrong spot. Let's fix that. Alright, let's do that for now. See, check CG. CG is pretty good. It's a little bit off center. It's not bad. I could fix that. Where's my physics sensor? Where did my physics sensor go? Right there. Okay, physics sensor is right there. Is that centered? It is centered, so that's fine. Right, physics sensor is fine. Unlikely to be that. Let's see. Where's my winch controls? No, transponder locator. Coaxial. Alright, we take the collective main, bottom collective, top collective. I don't know why I'm calling it collective main. It should be collective, gyro collective. Transponder locator. There's a transponder locator. I don't think I put that on yet, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. That would be why that's unplugged. Let's change this name here. This should be collective from gyro. All right. Check something real quick here. Pitch is good. Roll. Collective. Let's make sure that's top. Yep, top and then bottom. Bottom collective. Okay, that's good. Let's see, are these getting any of the correction? They are getting correction. Torque fins, okay, torque fins are getting their correction. These fins are hooked into stabilized yaw, okay. This should also be moved into stabilized yaw. Where is it? There we go. Alright. Got that little bit of, I want to get that worked out. I'll keep doing some testing on that later, but let's open up one of my other coaxes and see, make sure I'm running this all the same. So I might have made a connection error that I want to check, so. This one need infinite electricity probably, yeah. just I put start stop as 3 and it's not 6. See if it's center of gravity issue too, but this one's rock steady. So we'll see how I have this one set up. This one is rock steady here. So we'll check this one, see what's up with this one. Because I may have made a connection problem. I haven't done a coax in a while. I usually do conventionals. Alright, so I'm doing bottom only roll. Let's see, I've got pitch coming off of gyro stay pitch. Collective goes into this box here. Top collective, collective. And then this one is running. Yep, that's yaw. It's going right off of, yep, stab yaw going in there. Okay. Let's check the gyro, see what some of the gyro settings are. Much higher levels on this one, so I could go up. Maybe I'm not smoothing enough with the gyro. Let's increase it. That could be it, right there. That could be it right there. So let's play with that. Maybe I'm not doing final smoothing enough. Let's just get rid of this. I don't need this plumbed in here at all. Get rid of roll. Yeah, let's crank this up and see what happens. See how badly it behaves at 100. I might have just already neutered the gyro too much. Because it's definitely helpful having the gyro smooth some of this out. So we'll go back and we'll retune the gyro, see if that fixes it. Might not like the gyro vertical. Usually I don't think the position in the gyro really matters. It uses universal positioning pretty much, I think. So. 100 and then 170. Yeah, it's already shaking still. Yeah, it's still shaking. Yeah, you see we've got the flutter in there. The problem is I can't tune collective on that gyro. Could put the collective through a smoother itself. Let's try that. Let's try that. That leap alone. Let's go back to 20s. 20s I think are usually fine. We'll run 20s on this. Alright, and then let's see. Let's go in this box here. Alright, and let's go ahead and we'll put a smoothing phase in on this. Why did I do that one? Okay. I have a bunch of coaxes that do not have this issue, so I'm trying to figure out what's up. Something's different with this one. It's not on the other ones. I don't know. I don't know how big the engine is right now. I'll check in a minute. One is too high on that. You can see it's trying to go full blade pitch, so let's fix that. Do a small number here. Do a 1/10 on that. It's trying to overdo it, so it's But overdoing it, it is trying to add too much collective at once. There we go, that's a 10th. Much flatter blades on that. Alright, we're up to operational. 10th is probably too little. I'm getting no collective out of it now. Okay. I need a P, put a P value in that so I can screw with it. Or else I'm never going to get anything done here. There we go. Cut that. Alright, plug it in today. That'll do it. Won't do too much tuning. Tuning's kind of boring. Move on from here in a minute. Just kind of working on this the other day, so I want to kind of get back to it. Let's do this as we'll do 0.25. Getting a little bit of collective control, am I? Not really. There we go. There's a little collective control there. There we go. Look at the ropes. Ropes are no longer jumping. See, the ropes aren't jumping anymore. So that was a good smooth. So that smoothed it out nicely. Okay, good. So let's go ahead, put the altitude hold on of 100. We still have a roll issue. I don't know what the roll issue is about, but notice the ropes are not jumping up and down constantly like they were, like they have been. So that, because you noticed before they're up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I can show you in a second here. We'll jump in there. So like if I make this P value too high, that's way too fucking high, but didn't like that change. Probably should damage it. 0.5. So doubling it was too much. Let's go ahead and I'll do a small change. I'll move it by 1/10 at a time. So let's see. How's it going there, SYM? How's it going, Boathouse? How are you? How are you? It's going well. It's going well. How's it going, David? Have I ever built some with a 5x5 engine before? Yeah, I'll show you. It's I've never finished anything with a 5x5, but notice, look at the ropes. Dead smooth now. So there was something in the likely it was coming out of the gyro. It was not smooth enough, and I'll show you what I did. But here, let's try to piss it off again. So we'll go up 1/10. All right. So notice, like, watch the ropes. The ropes are a good indicator. The other one that's a good indicator is the VSI here. The VSI will show us if it's getting pissed off. So you see it moving, but it's not really oscillating yet. What I'll probably definitely be able, there we go. See it oscillating? There's the oscillation right there. So see that oscillation? All right, so bringing in 0.5 killed the oscillation. So I'll show you what we did in a second here. So now I should be able to rise. Problem is it's neutering me still too much. I can't go up and down on my own. Actually, it's fighting me. Let's not declaratively say I can't go up and down. The pit is going to fight me as I try to overcome it. So, like, if I shut off my altitude hold, I can still control it. So that's fine. You can see I can still rise. I can still descend. It just, the pit is, I can't override that as much. So, like, here, let's put altitude hold back on. So it's going to hold 100. Let's make a change. Let's go 200. So we'll go up. Nice and smooth. Not acting crazy. Especially, you know, we want this to be really stable. We're going to be going up and down the cables the whole time doing rescues. So we don't want this to be nuts. How's it going there, DJ Waffle? How are you? Oh, thank you there, Daniel. Yeah, I hit all the microcontrollers. That was kind of a pain in the ass, too. I was tight on space. It wasn't too bad, but I had to put the winches in, too, so I needed to redo some stuff to put the winches in, but came out pretty well. All right, so now let's go down. So we want to make sure we descend enough as well. Sometimes, like, I have a bigger allowance on descent than I do on ascent. There we go. Beautiful. And we're within 1 foot. So, perfect. That's really good. So, let's look at our number. It should be 0.5. Okay, good. All right, so I'll show you what I did here. So, if I can find my fucking cursor. There it is. It is green, after all. Didn't make the cursor green. All right, so right here, the p-value is going to be 0.5. That's going to plug in there. We can get rid of the p that we just put in there. There we go. All right, so all I did here was it used to go collective from the gyro, and then it would come in and it would add it to the yaw for the bottom collective, and it would add it to the yaw for the top collective. And then if I want to invert the whole Johnny, I can do this. Let's see. So the top one here, the yaw is inverted. The bottom one, the bottom collective, the yaw is inverted. The top one, it is not. And so this here just allows me to invert it if I have it backwards. If I accidentally hook it up backwards, I can just click this button here to invert it. So I can do this property toggle here, and that will invert it. So all I did here was I took the collective, the number from the gyro, so it's sending me a number. You know, it's going 1, -1, 1, -1, 1, -1, 1, -1. And then I'm putting it through a PID as my set point, the collective. Then I'm taking the output and I'm refreshing the output. So the output is coming to the process variable. So what it's doing is it's giving what you give me, and it's continually comparing it. And by changing the p-value, the 1 is pretty much feeding me back, not the exact same number, but pretty close. And then I can dampen it. So this is acting like a damper, where by decreasing the p-value, it's you know, the collective to gyro says, hey, I want a 1. It says, nope, you get a 0.5. You know, these numbers don't go by these numbers. I'm just, you know, making them up. But it says, hey, I want a 1. It says, nope, you get a 0.5. So then it feeds back to the system a 0.5. And then the next round, it goes, well, I want a 0.5. And you go, nope, you can have a 0.25. And so every time it's dampening the dampening is different, but damping the system. So pretty simple. Constant on, p-value of, you know, whatever it needs to be. 1 was too much. If it was 0.1, it was too little. I couldn't move my collective at all. I'd try to push my collective up, and it would not lift me off the ground because it wasn't giving me enough. So I went up enough that I could actually move the helicopter how I wanted, and that it was not oscillating. And then as you saw, as I increased the p-value, it started to oscillate. So, you know, by damping it like this, it then feeds it a smoother signal. So sometimes you can do that. Just put it through it's a loop here, and then you dampen it. So that usually works pretty well if you need to. All right, there we go. Let's move this over right there. It is super cramped in here now. I'll show you in here, and I'll answer Daniel's question about the engine size. I can't recall. It's going to get, I need to change the panel so it says what engine size it is. Let us see here. Looks like, what's that, 3, it's all the way around. So 3 times 4, 12 cylinder. Looks like a 12 cylinder. Yep, 12. That's got a 12 cylinder. It's bigger than Katie. Katie has an 8 in there. So this is a 12. So it came along pretty well. We have some winches. So this is I just hooked this up for a PID tuning. The whole reason I do this is every time I try to tune a PID, I have to pull the panel because I need to make 3 spaces if I want to do PI and D. So this just puts it in, reads it as a composite, so I can just do 1 composite channel, and then I have my 3 keypads here to work that. Let's see what else this needs. So a little bit of redoing on the roof here. We actually increased the fuel capacity. Has a winch here, a central winch, and a side winch, so we can do the normal winching that I always do to go up and down. What else? Put in the steering. Put in front steering. Let's make sure that's working fine. Let's jump in here real quick, and we'll click on the power here. It should be able to steer that front nose wheel. Yep. Okay, so it's going the correct direction, left and right. That's good. Okay, good. But let's go ahead and let's do this. Yeah, it does look like a goldfish. I was almost thinking of naming it Goldfish, but I'm not because it is, I have something named Goldfish. I'm trying to think, what is the Pokemon that looks like a goldfish? Yeah, that's it. What is it? Magikarp? Magikarp. It does look like a Magikarp, doesn't it? Ow. Bleeding again. Looks like a Magikarp. See, did I miss anyone's? Hopefully I didn't miss anyone's comment. If I missed your comment, let me know, and then I'll say howdy howdy. Yeah, but it's working pretty well. Let's hook this up really quickly to this. So I wanna tune in something else here. So let's go ahead to the autopilot. So this is the brick I essentially made for tuning. So this is it right here. It's pretty simple. It's just reading the composite and it's pulling them again. And so let's go ahead to, where is station keeping? All right, let's see. Station keeping, station keeping, station keeping. Where are you, sir? Or madam, I guess. This has been annoying me, like all my diagonal lines here. I need to fix some of these diagonal lines or I'm going to have a fit. Let's see. Composite switch box. What does this look like here? Okay, that's not what I want. Composite switch. It's got to be a switch box. One thing you can do is just take like a composite switch box, make the off channel. So I drag the physics sensor, go like that. And then this is just for line management, so I can then go like this. And I can square up my lines if I wanted. Usually I do this with an add if it's numerical. All right, there we go. That cleans it up for me. That big purple diagonal was driving me nuts. Okay. All right, I need to find station keeping. Station keeping is at the bottom. It's different builds I have at different places. So this is station keeping. This is the one that holds me on target. And so pretty much what it does is it will pitch to go on, say, the latitude, and it will go roll to do longitude. Depends on which way you're facing. If you're facing opposite, it'll do opposite. But yeah, so they're pretty much symmetrical. So what I'll do here is I'll go P, I, D, P, up, piss. There we go. P, I, D. Let's make sure these were actually, okay, 0.01, 0.01. Yeah, those are, P values were symmetrical on those. And so it's going to pitch and roll to maintain the position. And this needs to be tuned in. So let's do, this is our next tuning thing. So what is it, 0.01, 0.01. All right, and so that's good to go now. But it cleaned up nicely. Got most of these panels in. So 0.01 in the p-value. All right, let's sit in the seat. Make sure infinite electricity is off. Okay, there we go. Let's turn on the AP. Yeah, but are you talking about the damper there, David? Yeah, it works really well. If you're having an issue with that where you just can't get rid of that friggin' oscillation, like I try to get rid of the oscillation naturally first, and if not, I'll run it through another bit. That's what a lot of people's gyros are doing when they put a gyro in the workshop. The problem is, I prefer that because it's a smoother. It's smoothing out your motion, but it still lets you make the motion. You know, a lot of people have never flown any sort of aircraft, and so they make them very, very stiff, and they don't do that. Like if IRL, if I let go of the controls in the helicopter, it's going to, let's say I go like this. I'm on the ground, so I can't really do it. What the fuck? Hold on. I'm having roll issues here I gotta fix too. Stand by. Okay. Having roll issues here. See what's up with the roll. Let's fix that roll first here. Alright, so standard is bottom. Did I just take out too much roll capability on this? Let me see. Let's go into this roll. Let's check the actual orientation. Yep, positive roll is that way. Let's play with the roll here really quick. It's off, so I need to fix that as well. We'll do that before station keeping. Station keeping's not anywhere near as important as fixing the roll. Oh, I know what I did probably here. I bet you I didn't hook what I just disconnected. I bet you I didn't hook it right back up where it needed to be. Did I fix these? I did. Okay, I did fill these out. All right, that's fine. Those are filled out. Did I screw anything up on the physics sensor that I moved a bunch of physics sensor stuff around. I want to make sure I don't screw that up. That is 2. Is that altimeter now? That's altimeter. Yep, so that's altimeter. So this could screw something up if I dicked around with this too much. That is the off signal. Okay, so that should be fine. So physics sensor going to there, going to there. I screwed with these, so I want to make sure I didn't screw these up. They are off signals, so they should be running fine. See where my roll is. I need to fix roll. Alright. Roll p-values right there. Alright, let's see what's up with this. Let's just run it and see what's up. Just the problem is I'm making too many changes at once, and that is not a good idea. I went to try to clean up my panel and I screwed a bunch of stuff up, so may have screwed up a bunch of stuff. Alright, let's let this, make sure we get in the green zone. Let's make sure we get all the way up to operational RPM. Alright, we're up at our operational RPM. So see how it's rolling to the left? There is a weight imbalance. There is a weight imbalance going to the port side, so that's why it is defaulting a roll to the left. See how, like, if I let go, it rolls to the left. Now, I have auto hover on. Let's go ahead and let's go up, and like a real airplane or a real helicopter, like, it will continue often its motion, and you have to fight back. You know, you always have to, you know, it's not like, it's not a train that just sits on the tracks. It will exacerbate sometimes, and so a lot of people don't understand that when they're building their gyros and they put them on the workshop, is like they build the plane super stiff because that's how they are in games. What the hell is going on here? I wonder if I need the top roll control. I might be under-rolled here. Feel a little bit under-rolled here. I think the 0.5 is too small on the collective too. I don't have enough collective control, but as I'm going up, I'm losing roll, so I gotta fix that. Let's go. Let's, we're not having any roll instability issues, so let's do this. Let's go up on this to like 50. Go 60, screw it. And let's see, make sure, as long as we don't have an oscillation on that, I just want to get rid of all my oscillation first. See what's up with my roll? My roll is being funky. Like, one thing, too, is if you have too much roll, you can use one rotor. to control the roll with just one rotor. If you have too little, you can include the second rotor. Get up to operational, RPS, the center of gravity is a little bit off. I don't think it would be that much. Okay, so see, increasing the gyro has fixed that roll issue. So like now, I have a little bit more roll. And as long as I'm not getting an oscillation, we're good. I'm going to do collective, I'm going to do cross control. See how it's rolling me over like that? Okay, look at the... Okay, yeah, it's trying to fix it with the elevons too. So now as I cross control is when you do, like, I'm going pitch, roll, yaw. That's the likeliest chance you're going to have a mess up. So like I'm doing pitch, roll, yaw, and collective all at once to make sure it's not going to go crazy. The problem is a right turn. See a right turn? So that's a torque problem. So let's see if we can fix it because it's going in one direction. So likely what that is I need both rolls for this build. So let's try that because what it's doing is one rotor is getting the roll in there. And so what it's doing is when it's moving complementary to the rotation, it is helping it to roll. When it's going the opposite direction, it is slowing the rotor, causing instability. Likely. So let's go ahead find, where's roll? Here, roll right there. Go to roll up here. This needs to be inverted at -X. Good, we got that. All right, spawn that. All right, so let's see if putting this in will fix it. So now it's more symmetrical. Like some of my coaxes, I just use a 1. This one, it's going to need double it seems. How's it going there, Zachy? I've been working on this helicopter. A lot of PID tuning. Kind of trying to get that done so that it is all set to go. The ship is pretty close. I put in ballast systems in the ship. That's good to go. So pretty much I need to check fuel systems. And then we should be hopefully good to go. So, you know, you get these problems IRL. There are certain aircraft that are more stable going in one direction than the other because that's, for example, the way the rotor's turning or the way the propeller is turning. Like if you had a conventional helicopter, theoretically it's easier to turn one way because the torque of the rotor is already trying to help you. So the tail rotor is already, it's pitched in one direction. It could go neutral and help you rotate with the torque. You go the opposite direction, sometimes you're going to have problems. So like right turn, I have no problem in a right turn. Let's see what left turn looks like now. So I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to do collective and left turn. Now I'm going to start to aggravate it. Perfect. So see, it's not rolling over like it was last time. Let's quickly change directions on the yaw. It may go over on this. Perfect. So that upper rotor is preventing it from going over. It's still not happy. Doing a full cross control. And so full cross control, I was doing collective, roll, and pitch all at once. So see me doing all this crap? That's trying to piss it off. And notice it's not getting too pissed off. Now, the reason you do that is because likely you're never going to really do that. So like if I was going to turn, I would go, okay, we'll roll and we'll turn. You do it very gently, regularly. So here we go. I stopped it and moved back. So that's how I would move, like IRL. That's how I'd move in game most of the time. But if I try to piss it off, so here, right turn's no problem, right? So now we want to switch directions really quick. We're trying to go left now, It wants to roll over like it was last time, but now because we're using both rotors, it has enough strength because it's using the two rotors. It can overcome the desire to roll over. It's counteracting the torquing effect. So notice it fixed it. So it's like if you understand the aerodynamics of it, if you understand the torque and the physics of it, you can solve some of these problems. And that's where some people are like, oh, game's broken, game's buggy, physics sucks. It really doesn't. It actually has a lot of physics that is realistic. If you just don't understand why an airplane, for example, is easier to turn one direction than another direction, or why a helicopter is easier to turn one direction than another direction, then you might consider something that seems odd to you as game broken, physics bad, where realistically what it's saying is no, physics real. It's doing what it would do in real life, and this did exactly what it was doing in real life. And so, you know, because I have a little bit of background on this, I understood that, you know what, it's probably torquing one direction more than the other, which makes sense. And so I have the benefit of two rotors turning opposite directions. So what I can use is the other rotor to counteract that. So, but flies really well now. All right, so we're going to tune in station keeping. So let's do that. So the flies beautifully now. So let's go ahead. We're going to put a waypoint here. If I can remember how to do the controls. All right, let's go ahead and we'll go like that. So that puts the GPS in. We're going to go, let's do an altitude in here. Let's do 100 feet. Put that in. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to let this, we'll let this go over to the waypoint. So it's going to turn. Station keeping is currently off. 0.01, I think, was the number. 0.01. So now notice it's going to pitch, and it's going to act like a jerk. And it's going to pitch, and it's going to roll to go to that waypoint. It's losing altitude, so I need to change the collective on there. The 0.5 number is too small. It can't maintain altitude, so we're going to fix that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to pick a heading. Let's pick a heading, so let's put that in 180, 180, 180, heading hold. Okay, so we're going to maintain the heading. I'm going to keep tuning this in. So this number is too crazy, 0.01. So let's go 0.00. Let's leave it as 0.01. Let's see if we can fix it with the D value. All right, did I move the waypoint? I did not. Okay, let's move the waypoint. So we're going to move it to the right and forward, so we'll be able to see it. It's over there is where we want to go. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to enter in the keypad. All right, so see how violent it is? So what we're going to do is we're going to go in the D value, and let's make 1. So, okay, so what it's doing is it's over, it's definitely overdoing it. So let's go ahead and we'll make 0.005. And the other thing we can do is limit the pitch limit on it and increase the collective. So let's do a couple things here to try to help it out. Luckily, this is recorded. I can go ahead and check my numbers if I screw it up. Let's go back in here. So we want to go in the smoother here. So where's the smoother? Right here. So let's go from 0.5. 0.7 was fine. That will give me more collective authority. I want some more collective authority. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do this. There's always 10 ways to do everything. So right there, I'm going to keep my smoothing number as 0.5. That worked really well for me. But what I'll do is I'll go in here to the autopilot. And if we look at the collective here, I have it limited. So the maximum amount of blade deflection I can do is negative 0.5 and 0.25 positive. Let's make it symmetrical, 0.5, 0.5. And then down here, one of the things I can do is, if you look here, we have sine, cosine there. What are we talking here? Max, min. So this is my max, min for this. So my maximum, which is that, pitch or roll? That's pitch, pitch. So it's pitch, roll. So this is pitch. So my max pitch, we're pitching way too hard at 0.75. So let's go to 0.5. And this one will leave as 0.5. So that takes out some of the pitch. So we're letting the collective do more. We're letting the blades angle more, and we're letting the blades angle less when we do our station keeping. So 0.01. So we're essentially limiting it. It's just putting a clamp on it, limiting how much blade deflection we get. Because the other thing you're going to run into is, like, we have plenty of power on this helicopter, but the issue you can run into is if your engine's not powerful enough or you're asking too much of it. If you ask to pitch, roll, yaw, and climb all at once, it's like saying, hey, I need you to row this boat, but here are 10 oars. I need you to somehow hold these 10 oars and move a lot of water. And you're like, my arms are not strong enough for that. And so you start slowing down the engine, putting too much resistance on. How's it going there? Citrus, what's happening? All right, so let's see. Yeah, so you see the roll is much better. It's super, super stable and smooth now. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll add the altitude hold in there. So now the collective, before we were pegged to right about there, now we have more collective. Before it was only going up to here, now it goes up to here. So that's giving us more collective control. Right. Next thing we want to do here is, I'm going to make sure I put that in. 0.01 is our number for the station keeping. So I want to make sure we don't lose any altitude. So let's go ahead and enter that in. I can't do it from this seat. I have to do it from over here. So let's do nav GPS. So now notice it's much less aggressive. And so what I want is I want no altitude change. So we lost 3 feet. 3 feet is negligible. I don't care about 3 feet. We're gaining it back now. So we've decreased the bite it can take on a station keep, and we have increased the bite it can take on collective. So when it's trying to maintain our altitude, it can take a bigger bite. I've allowed it to get a bigger bite of the air, which allows us to maintain altitude, and I've said, hey, I want less pitch, and the roll's the same. So we'll see if we want to even reduce that even more. The main thing, the reason why I take a big bite out of it for station keeping is for the wind. Because you need to have a big pitch angle or a big roll angle if you want to be able to work with 100% wind and have it maintain the position. So like say we're down doing a rescue and the wind picks up, the helicopter will automatically increase its pitch and roll to maintain the position. So notice, see it's sitting, it sits pretty close. I need to put in a correction on that. But let's go ahead and we'll gain altitude. Let's keep it low, because this will hit the ground if I overdo it. So that's actually working pretty well. So we didn't need to change the p-value on that too much. Let's go ahead and we'll change the station keeping. So we'll put it over here. So this is off to our right and behind us. And so we'll go ahead and we'll enter that in. So one thing I do on this is there's two things. If I have heading hold mode engaged, I have a heading of 180. It's always going to point south. So I can keep the heading where I want it. If I take that off and I put in the new waypoint, it will turn us and it will rotate us to turn us to point to the waypoint because it's in nav mode now. And it's going to also pitch and roll us to get over there. So here we go. We're going towards. So generally what I'll do is I will put the heading in there manually. I prefer that. And part of it's going to try to rotate around the position. So notice we're within 3 feet of our altitude. Some people, like, they try to get ultra precise in game, like overdo it. Like somebody would be like, "Oh, I got the engine up to keep within 0.00001 of the set RPS." Well, IRL, you're never going to be able to get it that accurate. IRL, you violate the regulations if you deviate from your altitude by more than it's plus or minus 300 feet. So, like, if they told you, "Hey, climb and maintain 30,000 feet," you could go up to 30,300 feet, and you could go down to 29,700 feet, and you'd still be within regulations. You wouldn't have to call the FAA, you know. So see how it's rotating? This is because it's sitting over the waypoint, so it's going to constantly rotate. That's why I like to put in a heading hold on that. And that will just maintain the heading. So it's going to pitch and roll to maintain that. But this is really working well. So now imagine this was our rescue, all right? So we're over our rescue now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and... what am I standing on? Oh, I'm standing on the keypads. Okay. Let's go ahead and we'll open the door. We'll go and bring these up. So my method that I've come up with that I really like is... what I do is I put the harness below because your character legs will hit the door frame and you can't get in and out. So I let this go down through the door frame. Then I jump in the harness, and then if I can press the right button, I descend. So there's us and the victim. They're going to be going down the other up and down the other harness. So you see it's rock solid now, no more oscillation. So that one little PID with a p-value of 1 feeding back in, or what did I put in? Is it 1? What did I put? No, it's 0.7 now. That one little PID completely fixed my stability issue. You know, so it's, again, when people will complain, it's the game's fault, it's the game's fault, it's the game's fault, it isn't. And it's understandable somebody might not know how to do these things, but it's best to kind of keep calm, don't go on a rant, and just, hey, ask for help, you know, because there are a lot of people who've figured this stuff out already in the community. I'm in the ground. See how I'm in the ground? My controls went backwards. If your controls go backwards, you're stuck in the ground. So just no clip out of the ground. Look at how stable that is. So, like, let's go ahead and play with the wind a little. Let's turn up the wind. So let's go 50. So I'm going to crank it right up. Now, the helicopter is going to want to weather vane naturally in the wind. Remember, I have it set so that it wants to point to 180. It's going to try to point 180, but notice it naturally weather vanes in the wind. That's what would happen in real life. It would naturally go into the wind. This happens when you're landing. If we have a really strong left crosswind, even if I'm coming in 120 knots to land, my airplane is going to be angled toward the crosswind. So my airplane is going to come diagonally, and then at the last second you kick the rudder and you straighten it out. And so what I would do naturally is, what I would do if I was doing this IRL or even in game, I would find out what direction the wind's coming from, which is pretty easy because they give us streamers in game. But I would find out where the wind's coming from, and then I would angle my helicopter to face the wind. The benefit of this is I can also use the tail rotor to negate any sort of wind. So if the wind is coming at 100 knots, I can give it enough pusher prop, it will zero out the effect of the wind, and this will be stable as can be. But notice that's 50% wind, no problem. And I still have it trying to face to the south, but it's naturally weather vaning in. As I increase the wind, we expect it to weather vane more. Hey, look at that, weather vanes more. Now you notice it's starting to slide away. That's because that cap I put on of a 0.5 is not enough to overcome the wind. Now, one thing I could probably do is I could probably use the D value to smooth some of that out where I can keep a higher value, or I can do this. We get back in the harness, go up. A little bit of PUD tuning, yep. Yep, yeah, David's talking about good temper during cross control is nice for when things are not going well in your flight. Yep, cross control, like a cross control stall is the easiest way to spin an airplane. That is what's going to cause you to spin most likely in an airplane. And so, like, we teach students not to cross control. So one thing too is, like, notice my legs sticking through. I can shut the door, and then, so one test I can do is jump out. As long as I stand up, I'm good. Or I can tip this and get one more block of space, but we're fine with that. So as you can see, I can get in here, grab the people. So what I would do naturally with this is, if we look here, notice we're getting pushed away from the waypoint. The helicopter's trying, it's just not strong enough. So if we look, 122 is our new heading. So let's put in 122. All right, so now it's going to naturally maintain that heading into the wind. Okay, so we're facing into the wind. And now what I'm going to do is gently put in some prop. So there's a little bit of prop. All right, now what I'm going to do is by putting in some prop, I'm canceling out the wind. So let's put in, we're going to need a gob of prop probably. There we go. So if you look, it says we're going 78 knots. That's how fast the wind speed is. That's 78 knots of wind currently. So I'm going to give it about, there's 20% prop. Now notice, so the prop is canceling out the wind. So now it will use its pitch to maintain the waypoint. Now you notice we're passing it a little bit, so likely it's too much. So let's go down to, I don't know, let's do 15% prop. And so if you had a really windy day, you could utilize the tail rotor to do this. And now it's going to maintain its position. Let's see if this door might be a pain to close. Let's see. Some of these I have to move this to get the door to close right. There we go. It's going to close now, I think. So I could put that on a hinge too, but we'll see. That blocks the problem, so not the end of the world, I can fix that. But but pretty good. So this is I would say ready for prime time. But you notice we have 100% wind and we're able to station keep, so we could do rescues at 100% wind with this, no problem. So that's great. So I'm happy with this. This came out really well. Let's go ahead and bring this back. Let's move on to something else. But PID tuning mercifully was not too bad. All right, let's go ahead and save this. So this is working really, really well. I'm happy with this. Let's see. Just reading some chat here. All right, sounds good there, Zachy. What are you working on in school? All right, good. So that is I'm really, really happy with this. This is working really super well. This is ready. This is ready. Like I just need to pull my here. I'll pull my. Do I want to do any more PID tuning? Not really. I don't think I need to. Let's go ahead and let's not do that right now. This thing here needs to be hidden or put somewhere. Let's see. I definitely have a 2 spot on there. Let's see. Do I have any space? It could go right in here. Could go right in here, I think. Right there. Okay, this is going to go right here. So we'll cut this out. All right, and we will go ahead and edit this. This is just the coaxial yaw. There we go. All right, and then this is going to be gyro roll. I was playing Tarkov. You can always tell because my caps lock is going. Tarkov's the caps lock is if you're slow walking, so. Upper roll. Okay. So we'll just use this. All right, so that's just the inverted upper roll right there. All right, and then where are we at here? This is going from gyro roll, and this is going up to there. All right, and then this can be deleted, and this can go back home. Yeah, this is when people say, oh, the stock gyro sucks. You know, I don't necessarily agree. I think it, you know, it is nice for some people to have a gyro in the workshop that just does everything they want right off the bat stock. I get that. You know, I understand that. I understand why people want that. For me personally, I just, you know, I would, I do all the other stuff manually myself, so. So we'll work on this harness at some point, but let's save this. I just want to get rid of any clutter because I want to be able to like go out and do a rescue in this. So this is probably one of my best flying helicopters right now because I actually took the time to tune it. A lot of my stuff doesn't get tuned all that well because it's just like I end up moving on to the next project before I get it done. So yeah, it's like when people ask, you know, oh, are you going to release this in the workshop? And part of the like everything I'm doing in the live series, I'm trying to release in the workshop. But they'll ask, like, some of the other builds, you know, you can release that. And part of it is, like, I don't, you know, if I don't finish that tuning stage, it's, I don't think it's ready. So, you know, and sometimes I just don't get to the tuning stage. Let's see. So this is just going to be my PID tuner, so I can call this in and tune with this. That's why, like, something like Katie did right now needs work, and I just, like, I haven't gone back and fixed it. You know, like, I spent probably an hour last night and whatever I've been working on, about an hour here, to get this to just be tuned up correctly. You know, so it takes a little bit of time, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd rather build something new or do XYZ than to tune a PID. So sometimes I let it stay imperfect, but I'm not happy for that to be in the workshop. All right, so let's quickly look at, I've put in the ballast system. I showed that off last time, so I won't go through it, but it's just the ballast system off of Triton. This is it here, so it will have a keypad. Let me just spawn it in for now. Okay, where are we at here? Bridge. Okay. So this got put in last time I showed you guys this. Let's see. Mesh breaker bridge. Okay. So right here is the ballast system. So we put the desired water line. This is how many meters above the water we want our water line. So if we want to be 1 meter under the water, we would put a negative number. If we want to be 1 meter above the water line, we'd put a positive number. At default, it wants to stay at the water line. So I have altimeters buried in the water line. So they're invisible. You can't see them. They're in the water line facing forward. And so I have 2 in the back, 1 port, 1 starboard in the stern, and then in the bow I have 1 port and starboard in the water line. So if you notice, the water line in the bow is below the water and it's above in the stern. So you notice it is taking water out of port bow and is taking water out of port stern, out of port bow and out of starboard bow. It is taking water out. It is adding water to port stern and starboard stern. So it's filling the stern and it's letting water out of the bow. And you see, we can see the water lines here. It's showing me port is below the water line, is below where the water level is, and stern is above. And then I can change all of them with this. So if I wanted us to be sitting really high, I could put a positive number. If I want to go down, so say we don't hit a bridge, I could put a negative number in there. Why is this not going? Okay, I'm not pressing the button. All right, so that's in. That's the ballast system in there. So that's in. This thing is pretty much good to go as well. This is all no infant electricity, all that. I need to put in the handles for the crane, though. So those will run. Because I need to get that off the deck. But that's pretty good. Let's see what else we have here. This is the garage. Garage works well. Garage will fit the vehicles. It just needs some anchors so that I can tie stuff off. Engine room, how clean's the engine room? Engine room needs microcontrollers hidden. Those are all going in the fuel tanks, pretty much, in the ballast tanks. But this is all plumbed up nicely. Again, steam doesn't work. It's all a myth and a lie. But there's the garage. Here is where my drone control is, down here. And then this is where the skiff is going, in the front, in the bow there. Let's see. I put in air venting, so the air will vent. So you need to do this now. It's realistic. You know, you can't draw a vacuum. You'll try to crush the container, and if the pump's not strong enough, you cannot pump the liquid out because you need to equalize the pressure. And so all 4 ballast tanks are plumbed into the center weight compartment. The forward and the aft fuel tanks are plumbed into the center weight compartment. And then there is a pipe going all the way up here under the landing pad that lets air vent. So if we fill up with fuel, it would push on the air and it would pressurize the air. We don't want that. So as the fuel fills, it will push, or the water, as the ballast, whether it be fuel ballast or water ballast, fills, it's going to push the air out. As it goes down, it's going to draw air in to equalize pressure automatically. We don't have to deal with it. No pumps. It's all ambient now, which is very nice. Let's go up. These rooms will probably likely be staterooms on this level. So a couple there. That goes upstairs, and then we have this. This will probably be a workroom back here. This is now the winch room. So this is where that air relief valve goes up, right there. Here are going to be the attachments for the crane. You have doors on either side. This here is something you'll notice in a lot of cable operations, is you don't want to climb over under the cable. You don't want to be anywhere where the cable can snap and kill you. So you'd walk, if you need to go out on port, you'd come out this door. You need to come out on starboard, you'd come out this door. So that's why the dual doors there. This can close. And then we have, this is the big door for the winch. So this door opens up for the winch, and we can do winching operations. So again, great thing with pulleys, they're too big. I would love to see them do another pass where they make them smaller. Again, I think they should leave the big ones for big operations, but it would be nice to see some small ones. Like this looks fine for this operation, but like for other things, it would be nice if it was smaller. But that is what that's about. And then this will be, you'll detach this and just hook it here. The winch speed sliders are back. People are still complaining about that. They've been back since last Friday. So I know you guys probably aren't, but the standards online have been complaining about it, even though it was fixed. I don't know if it was intended or not, but, you know, whether it was or not, the community did the right thing. They went on, Citrus put his post on there. That became the default post. And people started it, and the devs said, oh, this is important to people, and they changed it. You know, whether it was a fix or they decided, oh, yeah, we shouldn't have done that, and they changed their mind. Bathroom in here. This is the... if we look under here, that's the air vent right there. So this is the air vent right there. If we look, we're pushing out 44 liters per second of air. So it's equalizing the air in those tanks. So that's doing that. And then we have the bridge. All right, good. So this is working. This is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and save this. I don't think I changed anything, but we'll save it. Let me read some chat here. Yeah, imagine operating 80 knots of wind. You can fly in 8, like I've flown in 80 knots of wind, no problem. Especially, let's look at winds aloft. Jet stream. Winds aloft. Forecast. All right, here's jet stream, winds aloft. Forecast for today. Max wind in the world is 193 knots. Let's see. Do we have altitude? What's altitude? That's there. Let's see. What is it showing for altitude here? I don't see an altitude on there. 30,000 feet. Okay, 30,000 feet. So this is at 30,000 feet. Let's find eastern U.S. This is all U.S. Okay, this is all the U.S. here. So it's not the world. This is the U.S. This is a U.S. map. So let's see. Talking Baja, right, coming down south on Baja, it's heavy. Arctic air is coming down over the U.S. This is one thing, like, people wonder why, for example, certain parts of the U.S. get cold, and certain parts don't. Like, some of California doesn't. It's the Arctic comes in over the top and pushes into the Northeast. Like, Northeast is pretty warm today. It's like 40 degrees, you notice. You can see the wind patterns. This is the Arctic air pushing down and over. You have southern air, southern warm air coming up and pushing into California. That's one of the reasons why California stays warmer. And as this air pushes up, it pushes that Arctic air up and over, and then it comes down and it pummels Michigan, and then it comes and it rebounds, and it comes in and it hits the Northeast. And then, for example, like the UK, I think, is less harsh than the Northeast of the U.S., and part of that is the Arctic air, as it comes down, it pushes over, it goes up and over the UK, so you don't get hit with that cold air as much. But let's look at, so like over the Northeast here, this whole chunk here, pretty much this whole Northeast quadrant, we're talking 80 knots. Could be a little bit lower. It might be in the 70s. Down here in the red, we're talking 130 knots. This really bad spot here is likely that 193. So it's over here off the west coast of California. You know, so you ride with these jet streams aloft. It doesn't really matter. They're consistent. So, you know, that's generally you're not going to be landing with. You're not going to be landing with that. But that's what winds aloft would look like. IRL. All right, let's catch up on some chat. All right, sounds good there, Aaron. Good luck. Not really. The engines have pumps, so you don't need a positive pressure. I have no supercharger because this is a diesel furnace anyway, but I have no supercharger on this because it's just a diesel furnace. I have no problems running it with without the positive pressure. If I have any issues, I'll put a valve on it to maintain positive pressure, but I haven't had any issues. They really haven't done too many changes to the pressure system. I would say at some point they're going to work on flowing water through doors. A lot of people don't have a very long memory of some of this stuff, and so for example, which is understandable. Stand by, I just got a message. So, you know, they, anyway, so back when the pressure came out, there was some issues where air was coming out, making a terribly loud wind noise. It was coming out of compartments, and it was making it so that you couldn't enter a compartment because you had a delta P and it was pushing you out of the compartment. And so you'd literally go airborne. You would fly away. Like I don't know if I had any videos of it. I was doing some testing with that, with moon pools, where literally the wind would be blowing infinitely out of the moon pool and you could just float over the moon pool. And it was kind of like those indoor skydiving places. And so you could just like go over the moon pool and the wind was popping out. So if I were to make a guess, my guess would be when the devs reduced water inflow by 100 times, so they reduced it to a 100th of what it was. The reason was because the delta P was so high, they were having problems, making the game pretty much unplayable in most contexts. You opened a door, the air would push you out of the way. So if there was a small delta P, it could easily and quickly change at the door, and it would blow you out of the room. And so that was obviously problematic. And so what they did was somewhat of an extreme, but a good change temporarily to make it so that that wasn't no longer a problem. What they did was slow the gas, we'll say fluid. They slowed the fluid transfer across a door so that you could actually enter your ship and it wouldn't blow you away. If the pressure's still too high, yeah, you can't get in a doorway. But they changed the rate, and the consequence of this, the unintended consequence of this, is that, for example, people who want to sink ships all day, they can't sink very quickly because you can't change the water across that door very fast. And so that's where all these people you see complaining about, oh, they ruined ships, or ships don't work anymore. Hyperbole, it certainly is, but I think what they mean by that is you no longer can open a door and instantly sink a ship. And so likely what I think they're going to do is go back. I think they're going to change fluid port rates at some point because that's too low for a lot of applications. So likely they're going to have to come up with a solution, but it causes other unintended consequences. So they have to think about how do we not break other things fixing this. And then the other one is the door, how fast water goes across or fluid goes across a door for the ability to sink ships. And so that's another balancing pass. That's a balancing thing. And so the people who are saying the game's broken because of this, I think what they did was they put in a fix to make the game work better. And I agree it does work better, but the consequence was at present these things aren't working great. I would say they're going to go back and work on them. That would be my guess. They're not going to leave it, I don't think. But it's a challenging solution. You know, we talked before about how the last 1% of balancing is impossible. You'll never get that last 1% balancing ever done because it's too hard to get that last 1% perfect. But you could get it to 90% pretty quickly. You can get it to 95% a little bit slower. And then the last 99, getting it to 99% is very slow. And then the last 1% is impossible. So some of these balancing things will naturally get harder and harder as they get closer and closer to the final thing, you know. It's going well today, officer. How are you? You know, and then it would ruin moon pools if the pressure changed so fast, you know. So there are a bunch of unintended consequences that a lot of people are not considering when they're just like, oh, revert changes. You know, you would break everybody's submarines. You would make moon pools impossible. Things that were advertised as coming, things that a lot of us are glad are here. And the consequence is, you know, for example, if you hit a boat with a torpedo, it will pretty much fill up with a little bit of water, but never enough to sink. It does fill with water, but not enough to sink. Air does not go out of the damaged areas. It should, it doesn't, you know. And so a lot of these people, they don't want to learn the new mechanics. They kind of have to do it, you know. They got to go learn them. And then eventually, I think they will balance some more. Yeah, but that's the answer. Just Boathouse is talking about if the devs have made any more changes. But eventually, I think they will. Piston what? What do you mean piston? I don't know what you mean. They're tandem piston contacts. This is piston drive is what I have in here. You're new to Stormworks, what should you do? If you look in my videos, I have the new player career build series. I would start there. That's designed to kind of get you started, tell you which types of gameplay to start with. You know, have a custom for building, have a career for playing. Some tips on like building your first boat and where to go from there. So I would start with that, Gorgle. I would look for the new player career build series. Let me see if I can find a link real quick. But yeah, that's why I made that, was so that you can kind of start watching that and go through it. The episodes are set up where they are kind of in order of what you should probably start doing to make kind of learning the game. You know, it's a lot to this game. You know, frankly, you could play forever and you'll never learn everything. You know, a lot of people try to go build the Titanic on day one. That's the link to the playlist. They try to build the Titanic on day one. You got to build a small boat. You got to learn the game. You got to walk before you can run, you know. I'm having no issues with my pistons. I've got 8 pistons in this total, and this thing, I have it down geared so that it can tow, and it's going like 30 knots. Eventually I'll do a crane tutorial. I've got a couple good working cranes now, so I'll do a crane tutorial at some point. Let's see. Trying to look at the time. I gotta leave. Let's see. I gotta leave. Yeah. So let's go do a couple missions, and then I probably gotta get going here. I gotta take a shower, and then I gotta drive ahead of me. So. All right, so that's good. Helicopter is running beautifully. You know, let's. I don't have an old version of it. Shit. I was gonna say if I had an old version of that helicopter, I'd show you. But you know, I was doing that. The ropes were bouncing up and down constantly. Let's see, 12. Was that yesterday? 122. No, that's 2 days ago. So yeah, like actually this is the one I just worked on today. Here, let's try this one. Let's show you what the helicopter looked like a couple days ago. Like, see, this is mostly done. You notice the panels are gone, so we're pretty close to where we are today. The only thing that's different is the PID tuning that I did today. So here. So I'll show you where we're at today versus a couple days ago here. So, but it's all PID tuning. Most of it was PID tuning, working on maximum deflection on the blades. You know, and again, this is kind of like I was talking about. You know, it's kind of the same thing as balancing, which was what I was talking about the devs. Is it's this little bit of tuning is the last like 1% that takes up all your time. You know, so like here. So let's jump in the back seat and let's watch the ropes. All right, so that's what it looked like before. All right, so that was what it looked like before. And so, you know, I spent 2 hours tuning this. So to go from this state where most of the helicopter worked fine to get to this state today, you know, probably grand total 2 hours. But it's worth it. It works much better. We could do cross control. You notice I lost control a couple times earlier because, you know, I didn't fix the rate on, or add in the top rotor for greater control and torque control. But this is why, like, you know, to have a really refined build, that's what it takes. Is you have to put in the effort, you have to really tune, you have to take the time. It's kind of boring. I usually do it off screen, but, you know, I did some of it earlier yesterday. But like now, we no longer roll to the left side. We were doing that before. No longer roll to the left side. Let's put on altitude hold and watch the ropes. dead still. So like that was a big part of what today was. So that's the difference between a build that is like ready for the workshop. This is what I want my build to look like when it's ready for the workshop. Stable, everything works fine. And then the other one, like some people would put that on. I'd be disgusted by that. I would never put that on. But it's working well now. So this works really, really well now. It still needs a lot of testing. This is nowhere near being done. This needs to go a couple XML blocks here, which we could actually put those in, but I won't do it right now. Put in XML blocks here just to cover those fins. I could even put the fins up here if I wanted, or out here, but I don't like to see them. And then it needs to be tested. It'll be tested in the career game, so that will get tested in the career game. But definitely good tuning today. Let's load up. We'll do a mission probably. What gear ratio are you using on the big steam ship? I'll look there, Tripper. I'll look in there. How's it going there, Tripper? Good to see you. Steam's broken, Tripper. Doesn't even work. It was the weekly comment in the weekly update of fix boilers came up again, and I was like, oh my god, what's wrong with them? They work, you know. Again, there are a bunch of people who assume that if something changed or they didn't figure it out instantly, something's broken. That's generally not the case. All right, let's look. I'm running an artificially low gear ratio to these two, Tripper, for the express purpose that I want really good towing ability. I'm running 1.51s. So it's 1.51s. Yeah, so one of these is a dud I can get rid of. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm running. Let's see, 927 divided by 2, 14 and a halves, 14 fives. Just double check. 9 times, yep, 27 over 2. Yeah, 4, yep, 13 and a halves. Yeah, 13 and a half to ones. Or 1 to 13 and a halves, essentially. Yep, never work again. It's a mystery. Yeah. I kind of joke about that because the hyperbole that I constantly see of like people like game's broken, everything's broken, game doesn't work, they ruined it, it's like, chill out, man. It's like there are certain things that work differently. Go learn how to fix them. That's a big part of this game, and it's like, one of the reasons why it actively annoys me is that the I turn off no clip. One of the reasons that actively annoys me is that I want the devs to feel like they can make some changes to the game to make the game ultimately better, and not be worried that a couple people. I won't do hyperbole myself, or I'll try not to. That a portion of the community who is very resistant to change and is afraid to learn new mechanics and doesn't want to learn new mechanics will then make it so that those of us who would like the game to get better, more accurate, more complex in a good way. There we go. More complex in a good way. That the devs aren't afraid to do that, and I'm glad that they don't seem like they were too phased by that, and I want them to feel like they can make some changes, man, for the better, A picnic boat transponder, and so that's one reason why that actively annoys me when people like just revert it back. It's like, no, man, the game runs. I'm having no problems here. I have Steam that runs. I have, the only thing that doesn't work, quote unquote, work really at all now is sinking ships. If you want to sink them with warheads. And so I get that. There's a part of the game that you sink ships with warheads, but if you still damage a ship enough, it will explode completely and disappear. So that works. You can still do the whatever you call it, weapons DLC. That has not disappeared. You can still do everything weapons DLC fine. You can still go and picnic boat emergency. Let's see if I can see this one. Actually, let's do the helicopter. So you can still do that gameplay, but it's, you can't actively put a couple torpedoes into a ship and have it just drop to the bottom of the ocean. What is going on with my money here? Okay, good. My money looked funky. You know, so for the most part, though, most of the stuff's working. It's just it's a little bit different, you know, and that scares some people. Is they know how it works now, and it changes, and they get panicky, and they don't want to take the time to do it, and so they get annoyed with that. And I understand it. It's understandable, but it's also like sometimes the reaction is way overblown. You know, things change. You got to adapt. It's an engineering game. You know, got to adapt. Things change, you know. You know, it happens in real life, too. They act as though this is not something that happens in real life. I just had a recall on my car. They have no clue how to fix it yet, but it's a major recall on my car. No clue how to fix it yet, you know. And this is, this is actual engineers out there working on this, and they still don't have a solution for it yet, you know. And so to expect that in a game, you know, they're going to be able to come out, and for me, the right answer is simple, you know. Okay, I don't care about sinking ships like that, you know. As long as I can still sink them, open a door, good, leave it. But for the people who like to do sinking ship survival, I want them to still be able to enjoy their gameplay. You know, so just do this real quick. Put that in. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's go up to 250. You know, so eventually I want the devs to go back and fix that, you know. I was going to take the ship, but this search area could be big, and I got to get rocking and rolling here in a little bit. So we use the helicopter. Helicopter needs its actual testing in its environment. That's the other big thing, too, is, you know, if I'm going to put something out... What's going on here with this heading? All right, so it looks like... I don't have a heading hold on, do I? No, it's good. It's going to GPS. It is off a little bit. It is up here. Okay. Let me see if I can see the waypoint. I want to see... I might have to increase the yaw. Okay, I'm going to probably have to increase the yaw. This... I still have not tuned the pitch control. That's why it's going crazy like this. So again, that needs to be tuned in. That's pretty simple. That's me flying around with that PID tuner sitting in the back of this, and me just tuning in the PID. So what it does is once we hit a certain speed, it goes ahead and it uses the control surfaces. It still uses the control surface all the time, but once we go over like 60 knots, the control surfaces have much more effectiveness. And that's actually what it's controlling it. So I'll just take that off for now. I'll just hand fly this for a little bit. I had yet to get into tuning for that, but that will get tuned at some point. The yaw probably needs to be increased because it's not enough right now. There it is right there. I just spotted it. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Get rid of 3D waypoints right there. So, like, see how much I can roll? A lot of people's helicopters will freak out if you do that. You know, so that's make sure you have enough roll control, make sure your center of gravity is under your rotor. All these things help with that. I'll read chat in a second. I see it pinging. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave on AP. We'll click that. That's just the auto hover feature. Let's go ahead. It will zoom in. We should be coming up on it right there. Let's see, it did pop up right there. Okay, let's set a waypoint there. Let's put that in. Let's check our bearing of 1. Okay, let's put that in. So let's see, 001. Enter heading hold, altitude hold. We'll put that in. We'll go 65 feet. All right, and now we're going to go GPS. That should hopefully station keep. It's not station keeping. I don't know why it's not. What's going on? Something is up here. Did I put that in right? Let's see. 337. Okay, did I zero this out? I did. Okay, we just did station keeping. Oh, what's up with it now? Oh, did I not fix it? I might have not fixed it. I might have disconnected it and never put the p-value back. And I bet that's what I did. I bet I didn't reconnect the p-value. Okay, that would be why it's not station keeping. Is I didn't reconnect the p-value. That's fine. Get a new pick for the video. Kind of bland out here, but we'll do that for now, and then at least I have something. All right, let's go ahead. I can edit the bloom on that later. All right, let's go ahead and we will open the door. We'll slide that down. All right. See, the problem was when these ropes were, or these cables were shaking really badly, it was hard to get this harness to go through there. Now it's cake. It goes right through, no problem. So I think I forgot when I took off that PID controller, I didn't put the p-value in, so it has no p-value. You caught that gear ratio right there, Tripper? Oh yeah, I see what you're saying now. Okay, yeah, that's close to what you have. My ship shoot out of the water. I think I need to change my engine around. What are you using for stability control? Because mine, I have stern altimeter PID control, and I have bow tilt PID control. All right, there we go. I didn't bring a fire extinguisher, but we'll throw this donkey in here for now. So she goes on this one. I go on this one. I gotta get a fire extinguisher. I thought I did. I have a defib on me. You know, so station keeping would allow me to go right over the boat. It would maintain same position. But I think I didn't put the p-value back in because it should have been pitching itself toward the target. But I think I just screwed it up. I can go over station keeping at some point if people are interested. I've done it before, but I can go over it again. Alright. Alright, where are you at there, honey? Oh, there you are. Get it out of there, you. Oh, I don't have a fire extinguisher on me. Alright. We're not going to worry about it then. We're not going to worry about it then because I don't have a fire extinguisher. Yeah, station keeping is on there. I'll go ahead and do a tutorial on that. It's actually not all that challenging. If you screw something up though, it can be a little bit of a time-consuming thing. So I have it. Yeah, I've got it all dialed in, so I can just quickly show you what I have and kind of. Well, like if you put in the wrong node, or that can be a pain. So I'll open up the hatches on this. Somebody's already. I can see they're sitting there incapacitado. But yeah, I'll do a little station keeping tutorial at some point. We have our fire suit on. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and sink this sucker. I only have one res on this. Shite. Piss off. They're in the fire, so I don't have what I need to do this mission, so we're just gonna get out of here, I think. I don't have a. Yeah, there's 3 of them here. I'm not worried about these people. She can come and she can live. The rest of them go into Davy Jones' locker. But I haven't put in any sort of supplies or anything in this yet. Yeah, I can get a pick here. Me actually doing the rescue. Now, of course, it's sitting right in the fire. That's not too bad like that. Most of them are just thumbnails anyways. I use them for, so they're getting that one on the drink too. Alright, let's read some chat while we're going up the cable. Yeah, you really don't need that many air valves too. One thing I found too is I was doing, for example, I would do fluid port, T-pipe. Off of the T, I would put a water equalization valve, which is essentially just a water filter. Water equalization valve, fluid pump. Then I would go top of the T to a gas relief fluid port. And what I was finding with that is that if any water gets in the system, kind of, it acts like a siphon, that will actively keep it from clogging. So I found that fine. But really, like you're saying there, CG, all you have to do is put an air relief valve on there. They change the rates, and that's what's screwing with a lot of people. Is part of its impatience is they see that it is taking a while, and they assume it doesn't work at all. And that's not really the case. Like, some people said, oh, you can't sink ships. They make that declarative statement. I'll go on there and be like, you can sink ships. And they'll be like, no, you can't. Look, you know, I hit it with 8 torpedoes. Well, that's not what you said. You didn't say I tried hitting where torpedoes and the ship won't sink. What you said was you can't sink ships, and you can sink ships. You just have to do it with, what's my heading here? Why is this off? Okay, I need to work on a bunch of stuff. The yaw needs to be changed. The pitch needs to be changed on this. So I didn't get to everything. I got to some stuff. I got to pretty much stationary tuning on this. I did not get to moving tuning. So let me get to that. Alright, so I'm pushing in the prop here. Let's see. Prop is full. There we go. We're speeding back up here. I'm just going to get rid of a bunch of the stuff. Yeah, I haven't worked on the stability when this is actually moving yet, so I need to work on that as well. We'll go and we'll dump these people off. Let me see if I can read some of this chat while I'm flying here. Yeah, but you can sink ships. That's, you know, people need to be clear about what they're talking about too. Like, I keep seeing these posts on, especially the weekly update, fix multiplayer. Okay, well, what do you mean? Like, I've played with 6 people before with somebody who's had a good PC and having 0 problems. You know, because we launched normal vehicles that were reasonably optimized. There was only 6 of us. We were all staying together, so we didn't have the entire map spawned in at once. You know, and we all had good internet connections, and we had no problem. You know, you get other people who have terrible internet connections, and it's night and day difference. That's, you know, the internet problems are really not the game's fault. And I certainly acknowledge and understand that, like, the official servers are probably pretty bad because it's a Wild West. You got however many people, probably too many people on a server, launching too much garbage that is not, and I mean garbage not as the builds of garbage, but that's not designed for multiplayer, where, like, if I put 5 Tritons in a multiplayer server, it would probably destroy the server, because Triton is not designed, it's not optimized to run multiplayer. It's designed to be played in a single-player game and works fine for that, but it's just not made for multiplayer. And so sometimes people are expecting unrealistic things out of multiplayer, and the game wasn't built to be a multiplayer game. It was built to be a single-player game, and then the community asked for multiplayer, and they shoehorned it in, which is never easy because it kind of needs to be built from the ground up for multiplayer. So, you know, it's like, you know, people make these declarative statements like that, or like, ships don't sink, and then you'll answer them, yeah, ships sink. Here, look, I did this hour-long test that ships sink. Like, no, I meant with torpedoes. And I'm like, okay, well, you didn't say that. You know, if you said, you know, you can't sink ships with torpedoes anymore, you know, yeah, when you hit it, it will fill with like 3,000 liters of water. That's not enough to sink it, and it's because of X, Y, and Z, you know. You know, you'll see, I still see people, somebody put a comment on there we were talking about earlier about fixed boilers. What's wrong with them? All my boilers are working fine. You know, so it's likely, you know, because they weren't specific, you don't know what their issue is, you know. And so you say, well, all my boilers are working fine, and then they're like, you know, it's like, well, what do you want from then? You know, you need to be specific if you actually want to fix something, but some people just do it for rants as well. You know, and I think they'll do a balancing pass on it at some point, so that doors will fill water faster, that damaged blocks will transfer air, so that when you hit it with a torpedo, it lets in air and lets out air and lets in water. But, you know, some people aren't going to be happy because, you know, the balancing either. Some people are going to want their ship to sink in 5 minutes because that's how much patience they have. Other people are going to be like, oh, 20 is perfect. Other people are going to be like, oh, that's unrealistic. That ship would take an hour in real life to sink, you know, and so, you know, they need to kind of come up with a balance. You know, like 5 minutes, I think, is too quick. 20 for a huge ship is probably realistic. You know, and if you want to speed it up with more doors, you can do that. But you know, it's going to be a balancing test, and that's the thing of compromise. Is nobody ever gets what 100% of what they want in good compromise. It's, you know, but people are happy at the end, or reasonably happy at the end. Some people are never happy. But all right, good. Let's go. Where are you at? Right here. Ground idle. I don't have a parking brake on this yet, but I don't need it. Okay. Can I grab you, please, and just try not to walk into that tail rotor? Yeah, balance of sound is important. They need to work on that. I would love to just see volume and pitch sliders on everything. You know, if they put a volume and pitch slider on everything, that would be beautiful, because then we could tune everything to sound how we wanted. That would be beautiful. You know, if you wanted a really high motorcycle whine, you could have that. If you wanted to have a really low-pitched big diesel, you could have it. And that's, I think that's always the best way to go, is to kind of customization. Let us customize how we want to customize, you know? How's it going there, Rasmus? Yeah, I think they need to go back and work on surge. Surge pricing wasn't a terrible idea. The issue was, you know, you would go with a tanker and it would change while you're there. And what they should do is it should essentially be a longevity thing. So if you go and you sell 300,000 liters to the fuel refinery, right? Maybe the price goes down, I don't know, 2 cents while you're there, which is negligible, which is fine, right? You put in 300,000 liters of diesel, the price went down 2 cents while you were there. That's about a 10% price drop. That's fine. But let's say then the price goes down over time and it drops down to $1. So it's lost 50% of its value. And then it stays that way for 30 in-game days. That makes sense because you dumped a huge amount of fuel on, so the refinery now has full tanks of diesel. And so you could essentially establish a burn rate where, hey, we sell 10,000 liters per day. It's going to take us 30 days to get rid of the fuel. And so, therefore, you're going to have a reduced price because it's going to take us 30 days to get rid of all that diesel. At the end of 30 days, now supply is down, demand is still 10,000 liters per day, so what happens? The price goes up. So now, normally where it's $2, well, the price goes up to $3 because the tanks are empty. And so let's say it goes up to a maximum of $3. That would be a 50% price rise, right? So now you have a 50% price rise. That makes sense to me, is that they do something like that, because now, you know, you wait 30 days, so you fill up another 300,000 liter tanker, and you go and you sell again. You know, so that makes sense. The surge prices were nuts, where like you put the first 10,000 liters, and now the fuel is worthless, and so now you have the rest of your tanker sitting there you can't do anything with. That sucks. You know, so I think it's better to do a longevity thing where, yeah, the price went down to 190, let's say 10-cent drop. So what was at 2 when you arrived, you pumped a bunch of fuel in, it goes down to 190, and then, you know, it starts to slowly, day by day, it goes down 10 cents. And then once it reaches supply demand, it starts going back up. You know, and then as it goes where there's less supply than demand, it goes up to a maximum of 3. You know, because the prices were way too, the peaks and the valleys were way too high, and the rate of change was way too high. And so they just really needed to fix that, I think, and it probably would have worked fine. You know, like I said, they could do it with an artificial supply-demand system where they have a static 10,000 liters per day plus whatever you buy from there. So if you're always buying from there, it says 10,000 liters a day plus your buy rate, and then it has an internal storage and says, okay, it's 300,000 liters. That's going to take us 30 days, so we're going to drop the price all the way to the bottom. and it takes, say, 3 days for the price to get all the way to the bottom. But once it does, it stays down there until it reaches 50%. Then it reaches 50%, and the price starts going back up to $2. Well, now, once it starts going below where the tanks only have, say, 25% capacity, it starts going up to 3. And then once the tanks are empty, it stays at 3 because, you know, you're in a fuel crisis. You have no fuel in the tanks. So I think that would be a better way to do it. That way you could kind of read the market and you say, oh, look, the price is starting to go up over $2.50. Okay, I'm going to go move all my oil into my tanker, get ready to go over there, because by the time I get over there in 10 days, it will then be at $3. And you start selling at $3, it starts dropping. Maybe it will keep dropping until it hits 2 or something. You know, something like that would be, I think, a better way to do it. So, you know, supply and demand would be an actual way to do it, and just set an actual number there where, like I said, you know, you use 10,000 liters per day, and it essentially burns it off. It sells it out of supply, you know. All right, so we'll land here. So this needs some work on high-speed travel. Slow-speed travel, I've got it dialed in. Like, the gyro is off right now. Auto hover is off, so it's flying really well. I just need to get the slow speed I worked on. High speed needs to be worked on. So station keeping, and we're going to fix that one number that I probably screwed up. Probably didn't put that back in. I hope I remember what it was. Yeah, I guarantee you that's what happened. Yep, right here. See this? I took this out, and I never filled these back in. So 0.01 was fine. We just plugged those back in. So that was all it was right there. Those two got disconnected. That's why station keeping wasn't working anymore. So, okay, update you. All right, good, and we'll save this. So helicopter is working well. That was the only error I had in there. And so what I need to do now is go in. I'm not going to do it now, but next thing to do on this is, so when we get moving, some of the pitch stuff, when we actually are moving, the control surfaces need to be tuned in then. But that's pretty good. All right, so that's saved. Let's read some chat, and then I'm probably going to wrap up here. I got to get going. Yeah, you know, like I said, that last bit of balancing is what takes the longest, and so that's probably why we have issues with fluid ports, is it's a balancing issue. And so how do you balance it so that you make the game, you don't ruin the theme of the game? The theme of the game very much is an engineering building game. That's what it is. It's not a sinking ship, you know, game. And so and we can tell that's what the game is because that's what the devs have prioritized. You know, it's their game. They're building the game that they want to build. And, you know, and that's what they prioritize at the moment, is they've chosen to make it so that we can build different systems, we can build ballast tanks, we can build moon pools over being able to sink at the moment, because that is the current issue. And then what will likely happen is they'll come up with a solution where they can change the flow rate of water into a ship, and then you'll have your sinking back again. But the problem is the delta P, the change in pressure, was a problem. It was causing, so you're getting blown out of doorways, that there was a really loud air noise, that literally, like, I did this test. Let me see if I have it. Let me see if I put it in. I'll load up the other save. Let's save this really quick, just because I don't want to screw up my, I don't want to screw up the save. Let's see. What's today? 22. Okay, I gotta try to do this quick if I'm gonna do it. But let's see if I had a moon pool. Let's see if I had tank. Sink tank. I must have deleted it, but I had a glass moon pool that I made inside here. And I did it probably, I don't know, a month ago. And so essentially what would happen is you had a glass tank of water with a spawner, and you had a moon pool, and the air would blow out constantly, and it would make a terrible noise, and if you jumped over it, you could fly over the tank. That would be probably why they reduced the rate of water going in and out of a doorway, to fix that problem. So they made a change to fix one problem, and it caused something else not to work. And I think eventually they'll come back and be like, you know, okay, well, we figured out a way to make both work. You know, but it's going to take time. You know, it's that compromise thing that takes time. Do I have any plans to return to the Arctic? Yes, I would like to. Really like to actually get up to the Arctic, but I gotta get heating systems in there, so I do want to get to the Arctic. I like the Arctic. The missions are cool up there. You have the temperature issues you got to worry about. So I really like the Arctic, so I'd like to get back up there. Yeah, I'll do a station keeping video at some point. Yeah, thumbnail with dead bodies everywhere. Yeah, damage, when you damage a ship, let me do it real quick. I gotta get going, but here, let's load it up real fast. Where are we at here? Where the hell is it? Right there. Yeah, the problem is you're not getting enough water in with blowing something up. And so you're only getting 3,000 liters in. You're not getting, or you know, for the example I was looking at, and you're not letting the air out through the damaged hole. So you still need to vent the air, but the water's not coming in fast enough to push the air out as a hydraulic pump. And so the vehicle will blow up before it actively sinks. So like, let's see here, like real quick, warhead. Where's the large one? Large. It's like here. So here's my sink test. So this absolutely 100% sinks if you use the vents and the doors. It sinks. So like when people say you can't sink a ship, wrong. You can sink a ship, but it doesn't sink the way they want it to, which is fine from damage. So I understand their frustration's legitimate on that if that's the type of gameplay they want to do, but it's not arbitrary. I think some people are considering it to be arbitrary. It really isn't. They're doing it for a reason, is because they had to fix that issue with gases trying to come through a door too fast. Infinite electricity. Okay. So like you know, so if we look here, we have I gotta do this too. This thing I don't update this every time I work on it, but right here we have to delete these. So, because the impellers, the water will push itself in. So here, this should be good to go now. Alright, so if we look here, we have no water. We have that much air in there. Okay. Let's make sure vehicle damage is on. Vehicle damage is on, player damage is off. Okay. Alright. So we're damaged, yay. All right, damaged and sealed. So if we look at the liquid meter, we took on about 5,000. We're still climbing. We'll see how high this climbs. The air is not going out at the present moment, but eventually this, I think, stabilizes and we don't get any more in. The test I've done before, I'll do it again later. I can't do it now, I don't have the time, but if you put in air relief valves, it gives that air somewhere to go. You notice the air is nowhere to go, so the air can't escape. So we're not going to be able to get rid of the air. So we need to do an air transfer. Let's quickly do this. I got to do it very quickly, but here, let's grab another toggle. Where the hell are we? There it is right there. Okay, we'll go like this. We'll go like this. So, like, real quick. Alright, so that's damaged. Liquid's coming in. Air is not going anywhere now. Turn that on. The air can go. I've been putting these on. This is helpful. This is going to try to pump up water. So let the water pump up. But then it comes up and it goes through here and it puts the water back in. So as it pumps it up, it gets rid of it. That keeps your pressure down inside your pump. And then we have air going out. Look at how fast I can blow the air out. So this is where a lot of people are having problems. If we look at the fluid port's pushing 228 liters per second of air, no problem. This is pushing 6.25 liters of water. That's pulling 333, so that's pulling about the 6 liters of water plus the air rate at the same time. If we look at our gas exchange here, our gas is going down pretty quick. Let me see, gas level going down. Let's see. Water is still coming in, so like this would be the test to do to see if this is going to take in enough water to sink. The problem is that you notice it's pretty much leveled out. That's the issue is we're not getting any more water in through the damage. So that's what people's main complaint is there's no more water coming in. That's the complaint people are having is that water is not coming in anymore, which is a valid complaint. But now we open up all these vent air, so now you notice we're pushing out. Air is kind of hanging around, and the water is still hanging around there. So, you know, we need to actively pump in water, which is not realistic, and so that's what people's complaint is. But they had to do something like this for moon pools, so hopefully they come up with a solution where we can have both moon pools and make it work like this. But it's a balancing issue, so I think eventually we'll get somewhere like that. Let me just quickly, I gotta read through chat and then I gotta go. Yeah, exactly. Like I see what Boathouse is saying now is damage doesn't sink ships. Yep. So when you make that complaint, you need to do it specifically. You need to say, when I damage my ship, it will not sink because it only allows in X amount of water and then stops. That tells people what's going on. It tells the devs what's going on, because some people are like, ships don't sink. Ships do sink. You know, because they listen to somebody else and it's not. It's the damage that's not allowing enough water in, frankly. And it's not letting any air out. Right, so that's, yeah. So they just need, you know, some people just need to be a little bit more specific on what they're talking about, because it's like, you know, if I was a dev, I would just ignore it if I don't know what you're talking about, you know, or I'd ask, like, what are you talking about, you know? Well, that's what I think Not Stormworks 2 is a new game. They said it's a vehicle building game. So I would say Not Stormworks 2 is probably pretty close to Stormworks, but different. But they have to start from scratch to make a lot of these things work. Like, multiplayer is not getting fixed overnight. It's probably not going to be able to get fixed at all. It needs to be built from scratch to be a multiplayer game. Yep. Surge pricing. Yeah, made it so it updated at the end of the day. Yep, that's a good idea. Have you seen my new train? I have. I've been looking at it. I've been checking it out on the showcase. People should go to the creation showcase and look at Rasmus's train. It's really cool. I see my truck on it. Yeah, I've been checking in on it, but I like it. Right now we're getting off lanky beamer. All right, let's go ahead and I will shall thanks the members, because I got to get going here for an appointment. But yeah, that was fun. So the helicopter made good progress on that. The ship is pretty close to being ready too. We have the money now to do that, so should be able to start getting that home ship and all of its toys in. So thank you, Adam Mountain, Connor Boyle, Danny, Sergeant Chaos, Aaron Repairs All, Citrus, Rasmus, Manda VR, and Anton Anderson for being members. Thank you, Chickens, for being a patron. If you guys are interested in any of that, it's down in the description below. Thank you to all the subscribers. If you guys have not subscribed and you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. And if you liked the video, please like that. That helps everybody see it. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.